I want to start this off by saying I have no idea what I'm doing. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I am going to be doing a Q&A. Come here, Bear. He's not coming. A Q&A because I asked y'all to ask me questions, but also, and what is actually the origin of this video, is I am going to be attempting to make a tissue box holder out of books. I went to a local thrift store and got these hunkers. One is The Criminal Process and the other is Fundamentals of Legal Research. And I'm going to attempt to cut these up and make them into a tissue box holder. So I think I have all of the supplies that I need, hopefully. I'm probably going to end up doing this over the course of a few days. So you're gonna see a lot of outfit changes. There's gonna be a lot of different and weird lightings, so just be prepared for that. As I mentioned at the very beginning, I have no clue what I'm doing. I haven't found a tutorial or a Kleenex box made out of books. I have found ones for book frames and I have found ones for book clutches, and so I've read through a bunch of those and I'm going to try and combine those suggestions into what I'm wanting to make. I guess let's run through supplies real quick in case this ends up working out and you want to make your own. You're gonna need some books. I was lucky enough to find these two that are perfect matches. They should be the perfect size to fit in a tissue box. They're borderline, I'm going to admit. This might be a flop, I'm going to admit. They seem to be the perfect size for a Kleenex box. And what I literally did is I went... What are you doing? I literally went and bought a Kleenex box and then took that to the thrift store and would hold it up to the books to try and find ones that would fit. So do not be afraid to do that. Also going to go ahead and want to have the size of a tissue box that you want with you. I'm doing this one because I just think this makes more sense with a book thing. If you can, ooh, that might be cute. If you got a bunch of those like cardboard kid books, I bet you could make one for the more square tissue boxes. One thing you're going to need is Mod Podge. I went ahead and got the matte Mod Podge because I think that's the kind of finish I'm wanting. I also went and got myself an X-Acto knife, which if I don't cut myself, that'll be a miracle. Now, one thing that I'm wanting for this box is a snap, because since mine is going to be so borderline, I don't want to, when you pull out a tissue, you like lift up the whole lid of the box. And so I want some kind of a snap to secure it closed with, and I could not for the life of me find the one that I was thinking of. So I went and bought this box, and I actually filmed myself trying to see if this would work because I just wanted to document that on camera. So we're gonna go ahead and cut to that. Hey guys, so I'm doing this early just in case this doesn't work and I need to go find something else. I'm not like in the middle of working, but I need like a snap and I couldn't find what I'm picturing. So I bought this little chest for $1 and it has the kind of snap that I'm wanting. So we're gonna see if I can get it off. I don't know why I'm documenting this. My screwdriver is much bigger than these screws are, so this is probably not gonna work at all. It's moving. Guys, I think this is working. Look at that! Oh, one part down. And 2 parts down. So we're good to go. Back to current me, future me, something like that. So this should work. I also have some E6000 glue to glue the two books together and to glue on the little snappy thing. And I think that's all of my supplies. One thing I have done already to prep for this, I went ahead and traced around my tissue box, but then I added a little bit onto the sides, one of the short ones and one of the long ones, because I'm gonna need room for it to actually, you know, fit down into the box. And so my next step will be to trace this onto the book and start cutting out, I think. Or, wait, no, I need to look this up. I might need to paint first and then do that. Maybe I should go ahead and paint. Do I have time to paint? I have time to paint. Okay, this is my tentative setup. We'll see if this works. But I am just going to paint each side and then we'll see what happens. And while I do this, I am going to answer questions. So the first question says, I'm starting school again soon and was wondering how you make time for reading. It is hard enough to tear myself away from a book, but I do need to prioritize schoolwork, so how do you manage? This one is a tricky question because honestly, in some ways, I don't know. My biggest tip is one that you just hear all the time. So it's nothing new, but it's to literally always have a book with you. Like that's the biggest way I read more, is I just always carry enjoy a book with me. And so then if I have a break, then I'm reading. Which, to expand on that point, one thing I like to do is I hate being late. And so I always try and get to my classes at least 10 minutes early. And then in that 10 minutes, I read. And so that's like a guaranteed, let's say I have 3 classes one day. So that's a guaranteed 30 minutes of reading done that day. Because I just go and I sit in the class and I read. It doesn't help when you start making friends in your classes because most of the time you do. Sometimes you don't. Most of the time you will. And then you'll end up talking to them during those 10 minutes instead of reading. But for the most part, I definitely suggest getting places early because then you can take that time and read. I'm worried I'm doing this wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, I'd say those are my 2 biggest things. Just literally always have a book with you and always have a book on your phone that you would like. It does help in college to read less physical books and more ebooks, or if you read audiobooks, more audiobooks, because they're just easier to read on your commute and they're easier to quickly grab out when you end up having a few seconds. Do I do that? No, because I like physical books. But I do find myself reading ebooks more often during the school year than I do during the summer and on the average day. The next question is, have you ever read The Night Circus? I did read The Night Circus. I read it, let's see, I think it was last spring semester. Yeah, that sounds right. So almost a year ago, about a year ago. I really liked it. It wasn't like a favorite book of all time, but I can see why people really like it and I enjoyed it. So I definitely think it is a good book and I'd recommend it. I'm trying to do this quickly while also trying to do this thoroughly and it's not going well. Next is, have you ever been to Europe? I have not. I have never been out of the United States. I would love to go out of the United States. If I could choose a country to go to, I would want to go to the Czech Republic. My family is very Czech. We actually have the diary of my great-great-grandfather and him coming from the Czech Republic to America and about his time living in the Czech Republic and how in this little village he lived in that still exists, there was this count and how he'd go there to get their scraps of food for them to eat, and how one time he was given what is essentially like a dime or something, and he, instead of saving it, he went and bought candy and his dad spanked him or something for it. It's super cool to have that, and I love the Czech culture and I want to go. So that is my big place. I want to go to the Czech Republic. I want to see Prague and I want to find that little village. The next question is, what book do you plan on saving to give to your future kids? There was one picture book, and I don't think it was ever technically my favorite picture book, but it's one of the ones that has stuck with me the most now, and it's called Pickle Chiffon Pie. It was a fantastic picture book. Also, Duchess Bakes a Cake. There's just a lot of picture books. My mom read to us a lot as kids, and so basically any of those. If we're thinking a bit older, Junie B. Jones. That and American Girl. Those American Girls shaped my life. I was obsessed. I had Kirsten, the American Girl doll. She was the Pioneer doll. I loved her books. I loved all the books. I never got a second doll because I could never decide if I wanted Addie or if I wanted Kaya, and so I ended up just never getting another one, which is a little bit frustrating for adult me. I wish I just picked one. Probably the last question I'll get done for now is, how did you get into Georgia O'Keeffe's art? My family and I went to New Mexico about 4 I think summers ago, and we went and stayed a week in Taos, and we were gonna just go and then kind of decide our day's itineraries once we got there. And so I just looked up a whole bunch of stuff to do in New Mexico, and one of the things we found was the Georgia O'Keeffe Art Museum. And so after we went to the Meow Wolf Art Museum, which is fantastic, we went there, and it was a lot of fun with my family and my friend's family. We road trip with them, and so that just made it enjoyable. Then I was working at the library, and I think someone had turned back in this book, or I requested it for the library. I can't remember where I saw it and how I ended up with it, but I saw the book Weekends with O'Keeffe by C.S. Merrill, and I ended up getting it through my library, and I ended up reading it, and I ended up just falling in love with it. And that just really catapulted my love for Georgia O'Keeffe, and now it's at just this insane point. Because now not only do I think her art is beautiful, I just think she as a person was so interesting and so cool. I keep thinking I'm getting Mod Podge on myself. That was my start for my love of Georgia O'Keeffe, and I think I'm gonna get to go back to the museum this summer, and I am so excited. So I'm gonna let these dry, and I'll see you again later, I guess. Hello. It's a couple of days later. I have had a long week. I am very tired right now. I had a test today and 2 quizzes today, and I had a test last night. The one last night, I'm pretty sure I most likely failed. The one today I actually feel pretty good about, so that's pretty nice, but you know, knock on wood. Very tired. I just finished watching the Shane Dawson conspiracy video, the second one, and that was beautiful. I know there was a whole lot of hullabaloo about having to wait for it, but listen, that was worth it. That was cinematic gold. So it's been a hot minute since I've worked on this. The sides dried perfectly. I only did the one coat. And like, let's be real, that wasn't a very good one coat, but they're stuck together. Like, that's not moving at all. Looks like you just need one coat of the Mod Podge. That's good to know. And then I've already gone ahead. I don't know if you can even see this. I'm gonna move it where you can see it a little better and less of me. Okay, so as I think you can tell, I've already gone ahead and traced this, and then I realized I did it with a Sharpie, so that's really going to show. But what I'm gonna do next is I have a ruler and I have my X-Acto knife, and I'm gonna cut. I'm very scared. And okay, so at some point I'm going to E6000 these two books together, but I'm not doing that yet because I don't want to have to try and cut through the glue if I get the glue where I don't want the glue, so we're gonna cross that bridge when we get there. It's getting real, guys. Guys, okay, so the corners are kind of tricky to do, but as a whole, I should really watch this blade. This isn't bad at all. Okay, so now I guess I just keep digging. Yeah, I guess so. So next question is, who are some of your favorite booktubers? I'm gonna look through my subscription list because I can't think of any off the top of my head. So I'm gonna look through my subscription and then see who I actually watch, because I'm subscribed to a lot of people, but I don't actually like actively watch all of them. I just don't have the time to, so there's definitely some that I go towards their videos. Rainy Days and Stormy Nights, I watch every one of her videos. Riley Marie, I've been watching most of hers. Woody Novels is a classic. I like her videos. Okay, she's not technically a booktuber anymore, but Kate's Book Date is probably my favorite YouTuber of all time right now. She still does some book videos, but she mostly does just lifestyle videos, and I don't know what it is. I think it's just her personality, but I love her so much, and I just love watching her videos. Like, she's literally half the time just in her car, stopping to get coffee and driving to her internship at this point, but it's just, I love it because it's just so natural and authentic, and I think that's why I like it so much. So I highly recommend her. She's not technically a booktuber anymore, but love her videos. So next questions, I have my computer down on the floor, just that's why I'm staring down there. So the next question is, what's your passion? When did you first start really getting into books? What do you want to do for a living? And what do you do to give your eyes a break from reading? Wow, that's a lot. Okay, what is my passion? Honestly, my passion, I don't know, should I keep using the ruler? We're gonna just, okay. Honestly, my passion is books. Like, that might be kind of cheesy to say on a booktube channel, because I feel like everyone is going to say their passion is books. That's like such a genuine thing for me, because in my like social circles, I'm most known as a nerd and for talking about books, because I just love books so much and I love reading, and it's such a prominent thing in my life. Like, if I'm not reading something, people are like, Hannah, what's wrong? Because I'm just constantly reading because I love it so much, and it's just such a big part of my life, and I'm constantly talking about books. When people need book recommendations, they come to me, and it's just such a big part of my life, and I can't imagine not having books in my life. And it kind of carries on into what I want to do with my life, which is something with books. I am currently torn at the moment because I don't know if I want to go into publishing or if I want to continue on and get a master's in library science and work like full-time at a library. I'm thinking at the moment I might do publishing first and then get a master's, or like kind of get like a starter job in publishing while I do a master's. I don't know if that would work out because I know masters are like pretty intense, so we figure that whole logistic thing out. But basically get a master's essentially now, like get a whole bunch of school done now and then wait to use the master's and like just do something in publishing first and then later on go into library. So books are my passion, and books are what I want to do with my life. When did I start getting into books, and what do I do to take a break from reading? Honestly, crafty things. Mostly sewing at this point, I would say. I'm generally crafty. I say generally crafty because like I've drawn some, I've painted some, I've done random crafty things like this some. I'm saying I'm not like proficient in any one area of crafty artisticness, but I can do a little in most of them. Like I can crochet, but I'm not like amazing at it. I can sew. I'd say that's probably my best one because I've done that the most. So I've had the most practice in sewing. So I'd say sewing is probably the best one, but I'm not like an expert at it. I can draw a little, I can paint a little, but I'm not an expert at it. So like my friends are gonna watch this and be like, Hannah, you always say you're not good at crafts. I know like I'm good at them, but I'm saying I'm not like a proficient expert in them. So I would say crafts are probably the thing I do to give my eyes a break from reading the most. Also cooking and baking, I like doing that. I enjoy baking more than I enjoy cooking, but I cook more than I bake. And when did I start really getting into reading? I actually didn't figure out reading for a long time. I think my mom told me I was in like the 3rd grade when I finally got the hang of it. I don't even remember this, but apparently I was so bad at it and like so late in figuring it out that I was given like an ultimatum, and my parents were like, okay, if she hasn't figured it out by this date, we're gonna see if she has dyslexia. And at some point before that date, I suddenly got the hang of reading, and obviously I don't have a problem with it, which is kind of an interesting thing. I don't have dyslexia. Like I'm not saying I have dyslexia. I'm not trying to degrade people who actually have it by me being like, oh yeah, I was almost tested. But I find it interesting because a lot of the other things that go along with dyslexia, like the getting left and right mixed up, boy do I do that all the time. And just little things like that. And like there'll be times if I glance at a word, I'll read it wrong, but like the words don't swim or anything for me. I just think it's an interesting fact. I never pretend to be dyslexic. I know I'm not. I don't have the word thing. And I think that's like the main point of dyslexia, but an interesting fact about me. Basically, it took me a long time to figure out to read, but then once I did, I catapulted, and I was reading basically everything I could get my hands on. I mostly read mysteries. Those were my absolute favorites. Nancy Drew, Trixie Belden, Bobbsey Twins, Boxcar Children, that's a big one. The funny thing about it was since I did start so late, I was reading a wide age range of books all at once. And so sometimes when people ask me for book recommendations for kids, like I can give them, but I can't tell you off the top of my head what like age range they're for because I was just reading them at all different kinds of ages. And then I was reading as much as my eyes could handle, and then I ended up in a slump because I felt like I had run out of books in the library. Ooh, another good mystery series, the Maddie series. Put a picture. Those were good books. I don't think a lot of people know about those, but those are good books. This is some slow going. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so then I felt like I had read what I had available to read, and I was in a bit of a slump. And then I discovered Percy Jackson. And boy, let me tell you, that was an era of my life. My brother had read them and was like, dude, you'd love these. They're so good. But I was like, you're my brother. You're my older brother. I'm not gonna listen to you. And then my best friend was like, wait, actually, did he say Percy Jackson? Those are really good. I was like, oh, okay, I'll read them. So I read them and I fell in love with them. And that restarted my love of reading. And then I just kind of slowly was figuring out which books were popular. I was finding new books in different genres. And then at some point in all of that, I discovered BookTube. I can't remember the exact video. It was from Facebook that I discovered BookTube. And I don't remember who it was, but someone for one of the Percy Jackson books, I think it was Mark of Athena, was doing like a promotion thing where they got a box and did an unboxing, and it showed up on the Camp Half-Blood, like Percy Jackson McGraw Facebook page. And so I watched it, and then that's how I discovered BookTube. So I know once I get this all oof, that's not good. Undone. I'll have to Mod Podge the inside. What's my next question? Are you the only member of your family that likes to read? No. I am probably the one that reads the most now. My mom is very close at hand with that, but I would say I definitely read more than her at this point. My sister's very picky with what she reads, so is my brother, but a little less so than her. My dad also reads a lot. My mom reads a lot. She used to be a teacher, so like kind of came in the job. So like I just come from a family of readers, and I just kind of took it to the new level with the whole, you know, BookTube thing. What is your favorite book and your second favorite book? That is oddly specific. Okay. My favorite book at the moment, those are the keywords, is Weekends with O'Keefe by C.S. Merrill. I talk about it so much. Go back to any of my videos and you will see me talking about it. And so I'm not going to really go into it here because I have just talked about it so much. So just find some video and I'll maybe link a couple if I remember, and you'll find find out about it. Second, I know y'all are expecting me to say The Thief, and that'd be a good guess, but I'm gonna go with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I don't know if any of y'all remember, but that was my favorite book of 2017. I freaking love that book. I want to reread it sometime soon. And it's such a funny book, and it's so ridiculous, and I'd have to say that's definitely my second favorite at the moment. So yeah, those are my two. Have you always been in love with reading? If not, when did you start? Okay, I already can't answer the question. For the have you always loved reading, I always loved being read too, so I feel like reading was always a thing for me, even when I wasn't the one doing it, because my mom would read aloud picture books all the time, and we'd listen to audiobooks in the car, so I feel like reading was always a part of my life, even when I wasn't the one actively doing it. Okay, I have to go to my meeting. I will come back to this, and I will come back to you. I might try and do a little bit of this off camera just so I can get it done faster. This is more tedious than I was expecting it to be, so there might be a really big jump from when you see me next, but I'll be back. This is gonna be such a weird video. I hope this works out. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if you can tell, but I have no clue what I'm doing in this or with this, so just bear with me. I'm watching a Neil Diamond concert on KLRQ. Fun fact, he was my most listened to artist in 2018. I love him. Also, can I just be the first to say that this sucks. So here's the deal, here's the tea. I'm not gonna finish this. Basically, this is awful. It is extremely tedious. And I don't know if you've been following me on GOODREADS, but I haven't really been reading much because life has been crazy and I just don't have the time to finish this right now. But I wanna get this video up because it doubles as a Q&A. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna finish answering the questions, and if I ever finish this project, it'll probably be over the summer, and I will update you. Maybe I'll make a video updating you, maybe I'll just like mention it in a wrap up or something, but you will be updated eventually. But yeah, at the moment I just cannot finish this, but I want to get this Q&A up, so I'm just gonna finish answering the questions, and I'm gonna give you some things I've discovered while I've been doing it so far. So if you were wanting a tutorial, I can give you a little bit of what I've been doing, and maybe you can finish it. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you do this. It sucks. First of all, this is a messy craft. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can really see me at all, but I'm covered in little bits of paper, and it's just, it makes a pile. It is such a messy craft, which makes it difficult to do in a dorm room when you're just doing it on your desks, because then your whole desk is taken over by this one craft. So that's one thing that I have found to be very tedious. Another thing is, it is difficult to get the corners, and so I've had to turn to tweezers. And what I do is I get it as best as I can, and then I pick at the corner with tweezers. Like I cut just the corner, pick at it with tweezers to try and get the corner. Another difficult thing is it's hard to keep the lines straight once you start getting lower, because your X-Acto knife has like this whole thing going on. So it'll either like curve it in more, or like you'll curve it out more, and your whole side's just gonna wave. It's a bit frustrating. It makes the later rows very haphazard. So it's another reason why it's such a messy project. Also, you're gonna make little cuts in the sides of your books. I just find that to be inevitable at this point. Also, I'm wondering if it would have helped if I had kind of Mod Podged the inside edges as I went along. I was gonna do that once I had like finished this book as a whole. I'm questioning if that would have helped at all. It might not have, because it didn't really help with the outside, as you can kind of tell. Yeah, that might have helped. I'm not quite sure though. I think that's all the things I was going to tell you about my sad attempt at completing this. It does still fit a tissue box, but it still fits, just barely. It's the corners that get you, I feel like. So yeah, this makes a mess. It's very tedious, very time consuming, and I just don't have the time right now. So I'm gonna answer some more questions while I watch Neil Diamond jam out and try and guess what song he's on. Let's see what song he's on. Stay close to me. So, rainy days and stormy nights, hello! So she asked, are you planning on watching a butt ton of Disney movies that you've never seen ASAP? And if not, why, and if yes, which ones? I will eventually. The eventually is because life, it's a problem at the moment. And the which ones I want to get to Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, because I feel like those are like the last two major Disney animated films that I haven't seen. Next, she asked, what is one song that you want played whenever you walk into a room? Ooh, actually, you know what would be a good song? Where's my phone? Oh, Everybody Wants You. I don't know who sings it. Let me hang on. Hi, baby. It's on my playlist. Everybody Wants You by Billy Squire? I'm not quite sure how you say his name. But it sounds like it belongs to the intro of a movie. I don't know if you can hear it. Let's see. I heard something. It feels like it belongs in the intro of a movie, so it's like a good song to walk into somewhere too, I feel like. Describe your perfect book. Tropes, character-driven or plot-driven, genre, author, etc. Oh gosh. Tropes. I love enemies to lovers, but I also love friends to lovers. So I don't like enemies to lovers where like there's a valid reason for them to be hating each other. That's a problem. But if it's enemies to lovers like Pride and Prejudice, on board. Also friends to lovers. Probably friends to lovers is my absolute favorite. More character driven. I also care about the plot, but as long as I like the characters, then I can be a little lenient on the plot. Genre. You know, I'd still love to find another Western that's like really good with a really great female character lead. But also, I just kind of like, I guess, real life books. Also, do you see how weird Jasmine is? She likes to rub on shoes. Do your cats do that if you have a cat? Comment down below. Author, Megan Wallen Turner at the moment, guys. I mean, let's be real. Have you tried Discover Books? I don't even know what that is, so I'm gonna look it up later. Do you have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have two. I have an older brother and a younger sister. The next question is, how old are you? I am 20. I will be 21 in June. Wild times, guys. It's actually not going to be that wild. I'm not a partier. Maybe I'll have a glass of red wine. June 16th. It's gonna be a good day. Do you have any pets? Yes! Okay. This is Jasmine. She's one of my babies. She's the softest cat you will ever pet. I also have Waylon. He's over there. I can see him. You've seen him before, I'm pretty sure. Bella! We have Bella, the border collie. Say, oh gosh. She's a bit, not on the computer. A bit wild. But she's great. And then Sterling, who you'll have also probably seen before, and he's outside right now. Those are like our pets. We also have chickens and cows because we live on some acreage. The chickens don't have names, but the cows have names. We have Ginger, we have Maleficent, who we're about to sell. She's evil. She matches her name, it's ridiculous. We have Persephone, who we're also about to sell just because we need to sell her. Tiger Lily, who we're not selling because she is a doll and I love her. And then we have another calf who we don't really have a name for yet. I've kind of just been calling her Buster just because I thought she needed a name. So her name will change eventually. Comment names down below. She's black and white. She looks adorable. Let me know if you have any name suggestions. What book or books ignited your love of literature? I kind of already answered this earlier. So I mentioned earlier that it kind of took me a while to get the hang of reading, but I'm pretty sure like the first book that I was so excited to pick up once I did get the hang of it was Boxcar Children. So I kind of say that that is the book that got me into reading. Do you have any book unpopular opinions? I am not a fan of new adult books at all. I say this having not read one at all, but I have no desire to read them at all because I feel like new adult is just kind of to add sexy times into young adult books, which is fine for some people. But part of the reason I like young adults so much is because there's typically not those kinds of scenes because I'm just not a fan of them. I don't really care to read them. So I have no desire to read new adult at all. I also have no desire to read Twilight. I was never on that bandwagon. I have no desire to read City of Bones. Is that the first one? That series, anything Cassandra Clare, it just doesn't seem like it's up my alley. Same with Sarah J Maas. I don't think I'll ever read those books. So basically a lot of the books that are like popular but also popular to hate, I just don't think I'll ever read them because they're just not up my alley at all. So I guess those are my unpopular opinions. So those are all of the questions. We have finally finished this Q&A. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was kind of weird and haphazard and strange. Comment down below and let me know what your like go-to favorite book is. Like what author you'd want to write it, what genre you want it to be in, character, plot driven, that kind of thing. That question I did earlier. Comment down below what your answer would be. Also comment down below your unpopular bookish opinions. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see y'all again another one soon. He's back on.
Brought me to my knees. Never gonna say please. Girl, you got to my soul. You got control. You got to be your got to be